Hello, I'm Michael.
I'm Sally, and this is Wrestle MSX.
Mami is back, and after being out for 3 months, all she wants to do is rip Liv Morgan apart. So she called her out for an ass kicking. So out comes Dirty Dominik Mysterio. As he approaches the ring with a black rose, Liv Morgan appears on the Titatron. Liv questioned what Rhea saw in Dom, but since she's kissed him, she now understands. Ripley then threw down the gauntlet and challenged Liv to a match at SummerSlam for the title. Morgan accepted. Ripley then vowed to end the Liv Morgan Revenge Tour and career.
Sheamus versus Bronson Reed is next. The two trade blows to begin with before both men end up outside the ring with Reed throwing Sheamus over the announcer's table. Back in the ring, and Sheamus manages to take down Reed with a short-armed clothesline and then perform white noise, but only for a 2 count. A sit-down powerbomb then gets Reed a 2 count before he then goes to the top turnbuckle and misses with a moonsault. Sheamus then hits Reed with a running knee and gets the victory after pinning Reed. After the bell, Reed goes to attack Sheamus, but Pete Dunne saves him and clears out Reed. Sheamus goes to thank Dunne, but Dunne then just leaves the ring. As Sheamus celebrates his win again, Dunne gets back in the ring and attacks Sheamus. With Sheamus down, Reed climbs the turnbuckle and hits Sheamus with a tsunami.
So what was the point in saving Sheamus from a beating from Reed in the first place if he's just going to let it happen anyway? Sometimes I don't understand. I mean, obviously they're trying to tell a story, but Dunne has come down and saved Sheamus after the bell, and then Dunne's just attacked Sheamus anyway.
Yeah.
And then he's let Reed do the tsunami on him. So I don't see the point. Anyway, backstage we see Dirty Dom still trying to apologise to Rhea, but she's having none of it.
Next up is Zelina Vega against Sonya Deville. This match came about because Vega said she was up next for a title shot after Ripley and Morgan had finished throwing down, but Deville was having none of it, saying that she, Stark and Baszler are next.
Short and sweet is all I can say about this contest. After Baszler gets involved and wrecks Vega's arm, Deville hits the Deville Advocate and pins Vega for an easy win. After the match, Stark and Baszler enter the ring and start to beat up Vega, but Katana chants, Kayden Carter and Lyra Valkyria run down and make the save.
We then see Damian Priest backstage making his way to the ring. As he does, he bumps into Dom. Dom asks Priest why he didn't tell him Rhea was back. Jey Uso then appears, asking if Rhea Ripley is single. Priest laughs as Jey goes to in search for her.
Back from the break, we see Chad Gable interrupting Adam Pearce. Gable tells Pearce that he's figured out who Uncle Howdy is. It's Bo Dallas, he exclaims.
Wow.
And he wants to know if Pearce is going to take action against him after the constant attacks. Bo's here tonight, Pearce tells Gable. Good. I'm going to call him out, replies Chad. Good luck with that.
In the ring next is Damian Priest facing off against Gunther in a battle of words. Gunther literally just asking Priest to hand over the title. After a few more jibes, Gunther ends up calling Priest street trash, with Priest calling Gunther scum. As the two butted heads and it was about to get physical, Priest's opponent for the night came out, Braun Strowman.
Just before the match, we see Jey Uso being given a match against Dominik Mysterio by Adam Pearce, and then Bron Breakker asking Pearce why he's not involved in the Intercontinental match later. Pearce tells him he had his shot, with Bron replying that he's going to wreck everyone in that match. No you're not, Pearce warns him. As Bron walks off, Pearce tells security to make sure that he leaves.
Back to the ring and Damian Priest versus Braun Strowman. Strowman ends up in the timekeeper's area and injuring his knee after Priest dodged the Strowman Express. Priest then ends up working the knee for the rest of the match, keeping the monster among men from doing any real damage. Priest finishes Braun off with the South of Heaven and pins him for the win. After the bell, Gunther comes back out and attacks Priest, but Priest soon sees him off.
Backstage we see Alpha Academy saying they'll help him. Chad Gable hears this and says, "Great! Come to the ring to help me with this Bo Dallas, Uncle Howdy situation." "Oh no, we mean we're going to help with Xavier Woods with the Final Testament while Kofi Kingston is away." Chad then just storms off.
Back in the ring, and we have Katana Chance and Kayden Carter against Shayna Baszler and Zoey Stark. A cake stand to the outside wipes out Baszler and Stark, but Stark picks up the win though after Baszler hits Chance with a big knee. Stark then covers for the pin.
In the Judgment Day clubhouse, we see Dominik put his foot in it even more with Rhea. He tells her he's going to deal with Jey Uso and that she belongs to him. I don't think Mami belongs to anyone. Anyway.
After the break, we have Adam Pearce in the ring and he introduces Drew McIntyre. Once in the ring, Pearce tells Drew he wants to make a match at SummerSlam between Drew and CM Punk and that he wants to make it official. But before that, Pearce wants Drew to apologise to the 2 referees he hurt. McIntyre refuses, and in typical Drew style, he's on a rant. Well, I'll have to suspend you again, Pearce tells Drew. As Drew approaches Pearce to confront him, the referees once again get hurt trying to stop him.
Oh, them referees.
As Drew and Pearce argue, out comes Seth Rollins, who scares off Drew after a few moves. Drew gives Seth some verbal and then makes his way back up the ramp.
You see this being a triple threat? Drew, Seth and Punk, or... I know we just want to see Punk and Drew.
We need Punk and Drew.
But Seth's getting involved.
He is.
So, I don't know. Anyway, we're then treated to a clip from the Pat McAfee show where another videotape is delivered. You don't see it delivered, but during a segment of his show, the feed glitches and a box appears off screen. Pat approaches the box and of course finds a videotape inside.
The tape plays and it's Eric Rowan. He says the last few years have been hard and then he's tossed a sheep mask. How does that make you feel? Presumably Howdy asks. It gives me hope, replies Rowan. Personally, we did find this a little bit boring.
Yeah, a little bit boring. I mean, I know they've got to tell a story about all the puppets, but just it's a bit boring. Anyway, time for more action now as Mysterio Jr. takes on Jey Uso. Dominik started strong, even telling Jey not to talk about his mommy during the match. The three amigos gets Dom a 2 count, and even back from the break, Mysterio is still in control. He's really fighting for his mommy. Jey eventually turns things around and sets up for the Uso splash. But as Jey gets to the top turnbuckle, Liv Morgan pulls Dom out the ring. As they argue on the outside, Jey baseball slides Dom into Liv and they end up on the floor. Dom on top of Liv, of course. Morgan then rolls Dom so she's on top of him. And just before things get nasty, Rhea Ripley heads out. Oh, thank God for that. Whew. Morgan scarpers off through the crowd and Ripley tells Dom to get back in the ring and finish it. Dom obliges, but as he gets in, he's hit with a spear and an Uso splash, with Jey pinning Mysterio for the win. Rhea looks back into the ring, with Jey picking up the hand phone, insinuating Rhea calls him.
After the break, we see Dirty Dom licking his wounds when he's approached by Rhea. Ripley tells him, "I'm not yours, you're mine." So it would seem they're back together, maybe?
Well, possibly. It seems she's forgiven him. I mean,
but
if it's that
maybe
easy.
she just wants to own him.
Back in the ring, Chad Gable tells us he solved the greatest mystery of all time. Uncle Howdy is Bo Dallas. What? Then he proceeds to call out Bo, and Bo appears. No music, no pyro, just him walking down to the ring. As he makes his way down, though, he gets jumped by the Creed brothers, with the brothers and Bo ending up in the ring. Eventually, the Creeds and Chad stand over a fallen Bo, but Bo is laughing. As they beat him up some more, Bo laughs yet again. Bo then ends up sitting in the corner, still laughing, Gable grabbing his face, asking, "Why are you laughing?" "There you are," Bo states as the lights begin to go out. The mist appears, the piano plays, and the puppets make their way out. Cross leading the way, holding the lantern. They approach the ring, and Mercy, Huskus, and Ramblin' Rabbit get up onto the apron. As they do, Gable makes a hasty retreat out of the ring, as do the Creed brothers. When they've left, Bo goes to the middle of the ring. Cross gets down in front of him, and the puppets surround him at the back. Bo then laughs once more as he stretches out his arms. We then go to a break. Now, for me, this should have been the ending of Raw, because this is bigger than an IC title shot, and I'd even go as far as saying it's bigger than a heavyweight title shot. At this moment in time, right now, this is literally the biggest thing in WWE. It's massive. I mean, I know you've got the bloodline, okay, But that's been running for a few years.
Yes,
This is completely new, and it's intriguing, it's captivating, it keeps you guessing, you're asking questions, and it's just, yeah, this should have been the ending, especially with Bo stretching out his arms and the Wyatt Sicks around him.
For it to go off
that
fully off
would have been brilliant. But it's looking more and more likely that the Creed brothers and Gable are going to be facing off against the Wyatt Sicks puppets at SummerSlam, I think.
Yeah,
and I called
you
this last week, so forget what anybody else says, not interested in any insiders, that is what's happening, and you heard it here last week. Anyway.
Final match of the night, Ilja Dragunov against Sami Zayn for the Intercontinental Championship. A Constantine special floors Zayn, but Dragunov doesn't follow it up. A blue thunderbomb does get Zayn a 2 count. Sami then hits an exploder and sets up for a haluva kick, only for Ilja to counter with a boot to the face and cover Zayn for a 2 count. The Mad Dragon then goes for a H-bomb, but Sami counters this by getting his boot up on Ilja's face and then draping his arm over Dragunov for a cover as he falls to the mat. It's only a 2 count. A running knee then sends Zayn to the outside and down to the floor, with Dragunov following this up with a H-bomb from the apron. The Russian then hits his coast-to-coast on Sami, who's now back in the ring. A haluva kick then sends Dragunov over the top rope and Sami follows. With both men on the outside near the announcer's table, Bron Breakker appears at the side of the rampway.
I wonder what's going to happen here.
You know what's coming. He runs down the rampway, round the ring and spears Dragunov. The bell rings, ending the match. Bron throws Zayn into the ring, bounces off the ropes at least 17 times and then spears Sami. Raw goes off air with Breakker standing over Zayn's crumpled body. You know this is going to be a triple threat at SummerSlam, don't you?
Of course it will. Yeah, Dragunov, Zayn and Breakker. Yeah, of course it will. Anyway, thanks again for watching, and if you like what we do, give us a subscribe.
And hopefully we'll see you this Saturday for our look at SmackDown.